All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. This is another article, all right, concerning prophecy. Okay, because that's the times we're in, and so that's what our main focus is on. Okay, but it says Russia warns U.S. against arms race on Earth and space after missile defense plans revealed. And I believe there was an article before that Trump was basically saying that it doesn't matter what deals he has to pull out of or leave or demolish. All right, they're gonna do what's best for America. Along those lines. And the arms race and all that. Okay, so because Russia and the U.S. are big key players. All right, in prophecy concerning this third world war. All right, so it says U.S. rejection of any limitations on missile defense programs and readiness to weaponize space has drawn a blunt reaction from Moscow, with the Russian Foreign Ministry warning Washington not to restart the Cold War era arms race. All right, but we know according to prophecy that if there's going to be a World War III, all right, which the scriptures say there is, then what? There has to be, this going on, okay? And it's really just trying to prevent the inevitable, but just as the word inevitable is, it's going to come to pass. Okay, so going in, and really the reason why they're trying to weaponize space, all right, is because they know, because if you notice, they're using such urgency to try and get weapons in space and all these things because they know the Lord is coming back, all right, with the angels, all right, and they're going to fight against the Lord, but they're going to lose horribly, all right. That's prophesied in the scriptures, which we're going to get after this article. So it says, describing the U.S. Missile Defense Review published Thursday as openly confrontational, the Russian Foreign Ministry said the document shows Washington's intent to establish military dominance and ability to conduct military operations anywhere on the planet with impunity, while rejecting any limitations on missile defense efforts. We would like to note that the very same logic served as the foundation of the widespread nuclear missile race that brought the world to the brink of disaster multiple times. For Russia's foreign ministry said on Friday, adding that the U.S. leadership has apparently decided to step on the same rake with predictable consequences, because Russia's not going to sit there and let the U.S. do all this, because now that makes Russia vulnerable. All right, because here it is, you becoming weaker, and you're letting your enemy get stronger and stronger and stronger. Now they get their nuclear capabilities above that anything you can imagine. Now you're screwed, you know. All right, but they claim this thing of mad mutually assured destruction, but that's not gonna happen. There's gonna be a nuclear war, but there's not gonna be the whole earth was not gonna be destroyed. Okay, the scriptures prophesy of a nuclear war, which is gonna lead to America being completely destroyed. All right, but not the whole world will be destroyed. However, if you're of the Lord's elect, His chosen, okay, wherever you are, if you're in America, fear not, because the Lord will deliver you. All right. So it says, of particular alarm is the notion of deploying not just sensors, but also weaponry in orbit. The foreign ministry said the MDR practically gives the green light to deploy elements with strike capability in space. All right, once again, going back to, like the scriptures say, man, the war in heaven. Okay, they're preparing for that because that is also part of prophecy. It says implementation of these ideas will inevitably lead to an arms race in space, which would have the worst kind of consequences for international security and stability. The foreign ministry added, calling on Washington to come to its senses and abandon the attempt to revive the Star Wars program proposed under Reagan administration in the 1980s. And he said it, that if there, I believe it was Reagan who said that if there was an outside force, all right, that basically came that caused a threat, wouldn't everybody stop fighting each other and come together to fight against that? Which is in prophecy, man. Is in the scriptures. It says this will not improve the security of either the U.S. or its allies and partners, but have entirely opposite effect, striking a heavily blow to the international stability, which is already falling apart thanks to irresponsible actions by Washington, it said. obviously no one wins in this scenario. Well, they're wrong there. The elect wins. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the Most High in the name of the Son, wins because it's His will. All right. So at the Helsinki summit in July last year, Russia proposed a full restoration of Russo-American talks on all issues related to arms control and international security. The foreign ministry said, noting that Washington has yet to respond, it called on the U.S. to find the political will to work together on strategic issues before it's too late. And if you notice, Russia still has that spirit of being calm and trying to find a solution that doesn't involve violence and all that. But the scriptures say the Most High is going to put that spirit back into Russia. All right, that warlike spirit. All right, because it is prophecy that there is going to be a third world war. Russia's foreign ministry's warning echoed the military experts' understanding of the MDR, which not only envisioned the weaponization of space but also reserved the right to preemptive military strikes against missiles deemed to pose a threat to the U.S. or its allies. Militarization of space is inevitable, and the United States will quit any relevant proliferation treaty that stands in the way. And this is what I was talking about in the beginning. It says Mikhail Kodarenok, military expert and retired officer who served in the Russian Missile Defense Forces, told RT on Thursday, the day before U.S. diplomats announced that Washington would be leaving the 1987 INF treaty, placing limitations on specific missiles in Europe. However, Kodarenok, if I'm pronouncing that right, was confident that any current or even future missile defenses would be useless against missiles currently in the Russian arsenal, such as Avangard. Okay, and hey man, that's the spirit. Okay, so I just get a couple precepts. This is Revelation 1:7. It says, "Behold, he cometh with the clouds." Who's that? He is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right, who the world normally calls Jesus Christ. He comes with the clouds, which the clouds, all right, are symbolic for UFOs. All right, and where they coming from? The same place that these people are trying to put missile defenses and weapons up there. All right, because they know this prophecy. It says, "And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him." All right, going back 2,000 years ago, those that pierced him on the cross, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. Because what? They're gonna. The scriptures say the day of the Lord is a day of darkness and not light. All right. Now this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. It says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels." All right, going also pursuing to, because that war is going to be between the Lord Yahweh Shai and his angels against Esau. All right, NATO, the EU. All right, the beast basically. All right, and their angels. All right, because this dragon right here is not talking about a physical dragon, man. It's representing really it represents Esau. All right, Esau and his allies and all of that. Okay, primarily the U.S. All right, and these European countries. Okay, because they're gonna come together to fight against the Lord with their space technology and their space weaponry that they're so hell bent on doing. And the dragon fought against his angels. All right, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. All right, meaning in space. Okay. It says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." So see, this dragon, which is the same as the old serpent and the devil and Satan, isn't talking about spiritual demon Satan, all right, or actual physical dragon. All right, that old serpent, going back to the time of Adam and Eve, all right, was had the spirit of Esau. Okay. And the reason he was called a serpent was because he was subtle. He had that serpentine tongue, and he was very conniving and deceiving. Okay, because the word devil simply means to deceive, and the word Satan means an adversary. Okay, and that's basically what Esau is, the so-called white man. Okay, so that this is the prophecy, which is why you see them doing all these nuclear arms race for World War III, which is only going to be the beginning. All right, but it's going to lead into the appearance of our Lord Yahweh Shai, his second appearance. Okay, his second coming, and that war in heaven. Okay, so this is I'll read this real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country." Now, Babylon in the scriptures, all right, represents this time where it's actually talking about ancient Babylon, but most of the time concerning prophecies, it's talking about America, okay, because you're not going to see the word America in the Bible, but when it talks about the daughter of Babylon or Babylon, it's referring onto America, okay. So it says, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. All right, and the arrows will represent those nuclear missiles. Okay, because understand that when the prophets wrote these things down, the terminologies that they had back then was what they used to describe what they saw. All right. And Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and below as bulls, or bellow as bulls, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, and a dry land and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited. It shall be a she shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Okay, going to pursuant to Revelation, if I'm not mistaken, the 18th chapter. All right, about the sins of Babylon having gone up to the heavens, man. That's why it talks about the wrath of the Lord, because His ultimate wrath is the destruction of America. All right, that's why it speaks of it being a dry land and a desert, because that's what it's gonna be, and people are gonna be astonished, man. That supposed great city, America, that did all this and that, in 1 hour has become a desert. It says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow." All right, representing those nuclear missiles and that arsenal. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. That's why America is gonna be hit with 200 million missiles, okay? Because they're all gonna, even America's allies are gonna shoot missiles on America. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her as she hath done, do unto her. So none of America's missile defense systems and all that is gonna stop its destruction. Okay, this is prophecy. So I'm gonna end it with this last precept. This is Second Esdras, all right, the 13th chapter, going into the second coming of the Lord and the war. All right, so it says, I'll just start at verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That man is talking about Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Why? Because he's going to be in a chariot, a so-called UFO. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. All right, what it means by that is that that voice is the blast that comes from the chariot. Okay, and it says, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. If you get a blowtorch, all right, or a flamethrower, and you burn the earth, you see how everything dies, all right, or burns. That's what it's like, because those beams from those chariots are concentrated fire, man. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And those men are a part of this, all right, a part of the dragon and his angels. Okay, it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. All right, and that mountain is really symbolic for the size of his chariot. All right, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not, because that's how big the chariot was, that Ezra couldn't see the ends of it. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Because this is prophecy, the Lord put the spirit on them to still fight, even though they know they're gonna lose. All right, which is why they're trying to put weapons in space. Okay, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And that mouth is symbolic for the chariot, okay, the space in which the beams come out of. All right, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So it's like when you see those movies where there might be a group and they get zapped, all right, and they just poof, just they get eviscerated. Yeah, like in the movie War of the Worlds, when you see them aliens, zapping those people, and they just poof poof, just gone. Okay, that's what it's gonna be. All right. But basically, I'm just gonna end it there. Okay, this is all part of prophecy, man. So all these articles we see coming out are all towards prophecy. Okay, and our job is to break it down and filter it through the scriptures. Okay, so once again, man, is just keep your eyes open. We're in that time of prophecy. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.